it's time for us to go through the front pages of the newspaper. And of course, I've got here with me Mike Masikeno. All right, so let's start off quickly with the Punch newspaper. Making the headlines here, we have hunger protests loses steam as DSS grills 7 foreigners. And on the riders here, police crackdowns halt protests. US-UK demand dialogue. Northern governors relax curfew. And Sanusi blames Kano looting on intelligence failure. Tension rises as soldier shoots boy in Kaduna. And right here at the bottom of the papers, we have Nigeria urges ECOWAS defense chiefs to curb coups. And power generation hits 3-year high of 5,105 megawatts. And EFCC quizzes Ogun officials over government funds. Olympics gallants, the Tigress bows out in finale. In quarterfinals, sorry. And right here at the top of the paper on crude crisis, National Assembly to probe NNPC Dangote refinery. CBN dumps 12-month forex policy with $876 million auction. And fuel queues may linger till next week, says marketers. And final here, just right on the top right of the paper, oil thefts. Reps deny speakers $1.7 million bribe for appointments. And Mike, you want to touch on any story there? The queues have been, there's still been few scarcities still looming, and even I've had quite a number of challenges trying to get fuel. This morning, I had to send my driver out to get me fuel, and a few filling stations right now are still not selling. And it's really sad if we're hearing that this is going to linger on till next week. It's not a good one at all.
Yeah, so at top of the flag there, just by the left corner, there's that headline, Crude Crisis, National Assembly to probe NNPC and Dangote Refinery. The first thing I get to wonder, I get to think about is, how many times have National Assembly probed any particular issue, and then we have seen the end of it? Has somebody been made accountable for whatever loss or whatever embezzlement or whatever mismanagement of funds or whatever that is happening? So, and then, it's the same thing now that is happening concerning, which is what we're talking about concerning the Port Harcourt refinery. I mentioned that $1.5 billion. I mean, you didn't have to wait until 3 years after. You gave the money. I mean, every single year, at every point in time, there should be, I don't know, or shouldn't the money be given in trenches? It just goes, this, well,
yeah, but
I don't know.
at the end of the day, Mike, we have a regulation problem because you have institutions that cater into regulating, and checking some of these maintenances to be sure that, they're being, done, or the money is being allocated for this maintenance is being carried out. But then we don't see these things happening. You want to take on the...
Yeah, so Daily Independent here, we have FG rejects foreign interference and launches probe into violence. The right underneath that headline goes on to says Tinubu didn't take office to make life difficult for citizens. Crude threat must be destroyed. CDS charges ECOWAS counterparts. A prevailing hardship temporary. Addressing challenges, says Tinubu. That's above the flag of the paper. And then we can see here drama as 2 lawyers appear in court seeking Rivers expenditure shut down. Economic sabotage counters out. NNPC Limited, APC planning unrest ahead of gubernatorial poll. Edo government alleges NSCDC arrest 12 suspects for vandalizing infrastructure in FCT. The headline there, just under there's a picture story there. And there's something here. Protests burning politicians' houses could lead to anarchy. NNPP wants, insists government took people for granted. That's the annotation underneath that headline. And army arrests soldier for killing protester in Kaduna. That is just right there under at the bottom of the paper, and that's all on the Daily Independent.
And still on the protest, we talked about it fairly during the What's Up and About, and we've seen quite an outrage, in the north, in some of the states in the north, from Jigawa, Zamfara, Kano, Kaduna, and even, the burning of, I think, one or two House of Reps houses, which is a really, really sad one. It's really, really, really sad. Even of government property. Even of government property. We've seen a lot of looting happening, and I think that it's time that the government, steps in and does something about it before it really gets out of hand. So we'll move on to the Daily Trust newspaper. Making the headlines here, oil sector. I'll reveal the truth when time comes, says Kiari. Senate probes $1.5 billion spent on Port Harcourt refinery. Federal government spends $600 million on monthly fuel importation, says the finance minister. You can find more of that story on page 4 of the newspaper. Right here, Yobe farmers take delivery of Governor Boni's agri empowerment implements imputes. And right here, we have a photo story of the distribution activities right here happening in Yobe State. And yes, I think that's all on the cover. We also have here like a pictorial or graphic also representation or of distribution breakdown in numbers. And if you're interested in that story, you could just, grab a copy of the Daily Trust newspaper and, you get more details on that. And
Daily Times. Tinubu's reforms aimed at addressing past mistakes. That is the information minister. The writer says the president determined to implement reforms that will drive sustainable growth, improve quality of life for all citizens. Oil industry probe. We are not saboteurs. NNPCL, NMDPRA tells Senate we got 60% of our crude supply from NNPC. That's talking about Dangote refinery. Confusion in court as two lawyers appear in suit seeking reverse expenditure shutdown. Above the flag of the paper here, Defense Minister urges ECOWAS defense chiefs to tackle security challenges. FG cautions against foreign interference in protests. And CBN adopts retail Dutch auction to boost liquidity. Let's see here, just basically protests. Global Rights lampoons FG over alleged human rights violations and abuses. All that on the front page of Daily Times.